This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the government has given the green light to its traffic light today, announcing the majority of the country will be at amber. The Queenstown Lakes District Council has pulled the pin on New Year's Eve celebrations at Queenstown and Wanaka. And suffragette Kate Shepherd has been celebrated as a group of women take to their bicycles in Christchurch. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The government has confirmed the entire South Island will be at the mid-range orange light level when the new traffic light system begins on Friday. Cabinet met today to confirm whether the country was ready to move from the alert level system to the new setup this week.
Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern addressing the nation in her post-cabinet media briefing. She confirmed the COVID protection or traffic light system will come into effect at the end of this week.
This new system does not represent a considerable loosening of protections. What it does mean is using everything we have learned so far and the tools we know make a difference. It's careful and it's cautious, but it also gives greater certainty to businesses. Many regions in the North Island will begin at the red light level on Friday, including Auckland, much of the East Coast and Northland. But the news is brighter for Te Waipounamu. The whole of the South Island will also move in at orange. These settings will be in place for the next 2 weeks. Cabinet will review settings again and provide an update before the summer break on Monday, the 13th of December. Ardern says the government weighed up many factors before making its decision. Vaccination rates are one of the key factors we considered when setting a region's colour in the new traffic light system. But we also considered the following: capacity of the health and disability system in a region, testing, contact tracing and case management capabilities, transmission of COVID-19 within the community, the number of cases in regions and how they're spreading, and the impact the virus might have on vulnerable populations. At Orange, scanning will be required, as will masks on flights and public transport and in taxis, retail and public venues. Public facilities and retail will be open with capacity limits, and education providers will be open with public health measures in place. The government will update the nationwide situation on the 13th of December. With settings to stay in place over the holiday period through until mid-January. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Rescue helicopter rotors have put in a lot of miles over the past 12 months. The Otago Rescue Helicopter Trust has revealed just how many hours the organisation spends on rescue missions. The Trust rescue team spent about 3,000 hours up in the air over the 2020-21 year, setting a new record for the number of missions over 12 months. Helicopters attended an average of 4 or 5 rescues per day, picking up more than 1,700 patients across the lower South Island. The Trust's report to the Regional Council, their major funder, highlighted the lack of community fundraising due to COVID-19. It really says something about a community when members come out on a cold and rainy day to play some tug-of-war. About 50 people gathered at the Enfield domain just east of Oamaru to celebrate the village's 145th anniversary.
Maybe it's proof the weather gods don't heed special occasions. Despite the miserable weather, event organiser Samantha Owls was happy many people ventured out to celebrate the 145th anniversary of the village of Enfield.
It's fantastic because the community is still turned out. We've just finished the tug of war event and EGL Pastoral have won that, which is one of the local farmers that sponsored the event.
Along with the tug of war, there was also a selection of other races to keep the community entertained, with adults and children taking part in potentially unsafe, or at least very amusing conditions.
The kids are having a great time. They've done some sack racing and some egg and spoon racing, and we've still got the wheelbarrow racing to come, which will be a mixture of parents and children and adults together.
The event was originally scheduled for November the 13th, but a poor weather forecast then saw the event postponed to Saturday. Organisers determined it'd go ahead, rain, hail or shine.
I feel sorry for the people here that have maybe not had the day they were expecting. The weather's not been fantastic, but it's still a good turnout. Stall holders are hanging on in there at the end.
The tug of war competitions were the feature event because the Enfield team won the National Tug of War Championship in 1916 and 1924. The EGL pastoral team of Blair Jobson, Michaela Brentsel, Mark Jopin, Orlando Ruiz-Diaz and Matt Guthrie proved the toughest bunch, receiving an award for their efforts and may go down in history. In Oamaru, the South Today.
Queenstown and Wanaka's official New Year's Eve celebrations, traditionally the busiest weekend of the year, have been cancelled. Scenes like this from 2020's New Year's celebrations won't be repeated after the Queenstown Lakes District Council decided to cancel official events. Arts and Events Facilitator Jan Maxwell says they understand many will be disappointed that annual fireworks and bands won't be taking place along Queenstown's lakefront. It's a similar story along the road at Wanaka, with the QLDC blaming the complexities of the government's traffic light system for both cancellations. It follows the recent decision by the Dunedin City Council to cancel the popular New Zealand Eve celebrations in the Octagon. Bicycles have a special place in the history of women's suffrage movement in New Zealand, and during the weekend Cyclists in Christchurch discovered how Kate Shepherd and her suffragettes used bikes to spread the word.
Cycling into history. These riders took to the streets of Christchurch over the weekend, pedalling in Kate Shepherd's footsteps. The bicycle tour marked the anniversary of New Zealand being the first country in the world to give women the vote in 1893. Property lead at the recently restored Kate Shepherd House says it's important to remember the newfangled bicycles of the 1890s gave women the ability to travel and spread the word.
So the Froxen bikes we thought was a perfect opportunity for the women and men to come out and celebrate Kate and all of the suffragists who used the bike as a form of transport to get out to the community and to the rest of the country to spread the word, sign the petition. And so the bike is a very symbolic symbol of independence and power for women.
The cyclists started their ride outside Christchurch's 3D mural, adorned with subtle nods to the suffragette movement. Touring the central city over the afternoon, the group cycled to historic places significant to Kate Shepherd's life. And while many rode mountain or e-bikes, some like Linda White came dressed for the occasion, riding heritage machines.
This is my mother's ladies' loop bike from about 1920. It was old when Mum had it. It has a baby seat on the back, which I rode in when I was a child, and my children, who are now late teens, also rode in it when they were babies.
128 years ago, women here voted in their first election, and today the bicycle is still a major source of personal transportation. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. A Dunedin Art Auction takes its bidding online for a sale of New Zealand pieces. And the Central Dunedin Fire Station obtains a new device which could make rescues easier for officers.
Hi, it's November. We think that's too negative. We're calling it Govember. Time to go shopping. We've got a huge amount of stock we've bought in as special for you. So there's big selections of short sleeve shirts and polos, long sleeve casual and fashion shirts, jeans, trousers, casual trowel, shorts. Go check it out at Alex Campbell Menswear. Go while it's safe. Go while you can. Go while you save. It's Govember.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So remember, it's not November, it's Govember. Alex Campbell Menswear.
risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Certainly being on a bike, the frustrations you get when people are behind you, they're impatient, you know, it's only 5 or 10 seconds more out of your day, and when you think about it, we're on a lot longer journey than you are, and just keeping space, it's not hard to give a metre, you know, even if it means waiting a minute or so to pass.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, keep on lifting.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
Welcome back. Otago Regional Councillors have pushed back a little against a recommended rates rise of 20% for next year. Councillors are now trying to cap the increase to a slightly lower 18%, the figure indicated in the ORC's 10-year plan. Any rise will come on top of this year's large 48% rates hike. Councillor Hilary Calvert says the Regional Council had spent millions more than it budgeted for over the last 5 years. Councillor Michael Decker says a 20% increase would be particularly merciless, suggesting ratepayers would be spitting sparks. The warehouse has confirmed it's closing its Mosgiel store. The parent company began consultation with staff earlier this month at the branch just outside Dunedin. Chief Operations Officer Ian Carter confirmed the outlet will close early next year when the site's lease ends. The company is blaming changing shopping habits, with customers preferring to shop online or enlarge the warehouse stores. South Dunedin is the major branch in the region for the warehouse after its central Dunedin site in McGlagan Street closed in July. A Dunedin Art Auction is taking its bidding online for a sale of New Zealand pieces. The digital sales room is a growing trend for auction house Haywards, with one particular artwork gaining attention.
This intricate drawing could soon be someone's collector's item. For the right price, the 1978 work window in Spain by local artist Ralph Hoteri is one of more than 200 art pieces up for auction. The auction's being held at Hayward's Auction House, but instead of raising your hand to bid, potential buyers will be clicking a button instead.
We moved to online auctions about 18 months ago, and we've just found them to be an absolute great way to sell all sorts of items.
Hoteri's work is likely to set you back at least $6,000. If that's a little out of your budget, there's a whole range of artworks on offer from $30.
It's a real eclectic mix, really, of different artists, mainly local, but also some international artists as well.
Moore is thrilled by the pieces the Dunedin Auction House has been able to put up for sale.
I would say that this is probably one of the better art auctions we've certainly put up, and probably one of the better overall art auctions that Dunedin's seen in quite a while.
The auction went online last Thursday, with final bids being taken just before 7 tomorrow night. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A new Stokes basket monowheel at the central Dunedin fire station should help make rescues easier for officers. The monowheel device helps transport injured people across difficult terrain, also called the Traverse Rescue Mule Litter Wheel. It means rescuers won't have to carry patients themselves, making it safer, easier, faster and potentially more comfortable.
Prior to having this, we were just relying on us lifting the Stokes basket, so this is definitely going to make it easier for any further rescues we have to do.
The monowheel is the first for the station and will be available to other crews in the area if required. After the break on the South Today, we check out why tens of thousands of Cantabrians flock to a Prembleton man's home every Christmas, and we take a look at tomorrow's weather for you.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Just plan your route a little bit, choose nice and quiet roads. In the winter, it's always nice to ride north and south. That way you get the driest route and less likely to hit black ice.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
What have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent.
Love it!
Chicks World! Chicks World!
Welcome back. Every year, tens of thousands of Cantabrians flock to Carl Seawood's property in Prembleton to experience an interactive Christmas wonderland. The popular festive stop features dozens of animated carnival displays and colourful lights. But surprisingly, there's not a note of Christmas music.
Carl Seawood has a vision. He wants to see children, young or old, experience the joy of Christmas.
So at his Shands Road home, the retired 60-year-old has reportedly built one of the biggest interactive displays of its type in Australasia.
This is a light show of which you are actually a part of, you are in the middle of. That's unique.
And despite so many Christmas-related events being cancelled this year, Seaward has vowed to soldier on.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it, no matter what happens. Okay, working with the restrictions, but make it happen for everybody.
But although Seaward's property is full of Christmas displays and decorations, actual Christmas music is surprisingly absent.
The whole reason of doing rock music instead of Christmas music is because I'm building the light show all year, it would drive me absolutely insane to listen to Christmas music all year.
He estimates this year's show has cost him $200,000 to put together, with $50,000 spent this year alone on new lights.
I love life, and I love the joy this experience actually brings to so many people.
Seaward's partner Maureen passed away 1 year ago after a long battle with motor neuron disease. He has vowed to continue her legacy and raise awareness for the untreatable disease.
Maureen, who was by my side right from day one with this, we always used to tell people this whole thing started because with her 34 years ago, she started collecting the Christmas Santa bears. And that's how her collection outgrew the house.
The keen handyman says the show is different each year, as he can only display about 15% of his collection.
I'm good for another 10 years. Now, by that stage, I might be finding it a bit hard climbing up and down on the roofs, but as long as I can, I'm going to keep it going.
The Shands Road Christmas Light Show opened over the weekend and runs every night until the 30th of December. In Prebleton, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. While the government's given the green light to its traffic light, much of the country will be at amber when the new system starts on Friday. The Queenstown Lakes District Council pulls the pin on New Year's Eve celebrations in both Queenstown and Wanaka. And suffragette Kate Shepherd has been celebrated with a special heritage bike tour around Christchurch. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Craig Page. What have you got for us?
Good evening. We've got a story about the council's got yet another report to consider over its coastal plan, which of course looks at the future of South Dunedin in the wake of rising sea levels. It's something that's been, I guess, discussed, seems to be forever really. It's there's always a plan and a theory and whatnot.
Always seems to be year on, year off.
It does. So yeah, the latest reports suggesting they may have to consider some form of managed retreat from the area, which again has been talked about previously. But the real concern and immediate concern is the former tip site at Kettle Park. Of course, erosion's opening that up, and there's concern that even more of the rubbish will end up out on the beach and elsewhere. So that's something they're going to have to look at a little more immediately. So that's still to be discussed by the council, but it'll be interesting to see where we go and whether we can get a decision finally made one way or another. Yeah, the government, of course, confirming today the new traffic light system, orange for the South Island, or amber, as some refer to it as. So, yeah, orange for here. PM Jacinda Ardern saying everyone in the South Island is doing a pretty good job, but it's unlikely they'd move to green before January at the earliest. So, still a bit of work to do. We've been out on the streets talking to businesses about the changes, and there's a bit of confusion out there about what it actually means for them, what the restrictions are, who's policing the restrictions as well. One business owner said, well, if we do find someone trying to get in without being double vaccinated, what do we do? Do we call the police to come and assist, or can we just confront them ourselves? So yeah, lots of questions to be answered, but no doubt over the coming days it will be pretty quickly, because we're into it at the end of the week. So travel pages, we head to the Huranui in Canterbury for some rest and recreation. Sitting in the spa pools at Hamner Springs, not a bad idea, is it? So,
yep, I'll be up for that.
And finally with sport, we've got the final day of the first cricket test between New Zealand and India today. New Zealand desperately trying to hang on for a draw initially. Yeah, no wickets so far, but we'll have updates on our website throughout the evening and a full wrap for tomorrow's paper on that one.
Wonderful. So you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
beginning with the southern view, a shot of the harbour mouth on a spectacular Dunedin day. Looking at the situation, an anticyclone will slide across the Southern Ocean, passing the region this week and bringing mostly dry weather, often sunny inland, but some cloud at times on the Otago coast. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, it's a wet day for this region with showers for both Greymouth and Westport and a high of 19 degrees. Moving to the northeast, the wet weather continues with showers for Nelson and 23 degrees. Blenheim can expect rain with a high of 21. Moving to Canterbury, the wet weather continues as far as Kaikoura, with showers and 18 degrees, while Christchurch and Ashburton can look forward to sun. Christchurch reaches 19 and Ashburton 23. The sunny weather continues for most of the southern towns with light southerlies and fine weather for Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore with a high of 15 degrees. The Catlins also reaches 15 but can expect moderate southeasterlies and a risk of showers later on. Moving to central Otago, where the fine weather continues with light winds and the occasional cloud for Alexandra and 17 degrees. Queenstown reaches 18, Wanaka 19 degrees, while Tiana has light southerlies and 15 degrees in store. Moving to the northern towns along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect a cloudy day with variable winds and 17 degrees. Inland, Twizel and Amarama, fine weather with light winds and a high of 19. Fine and cool tonight in Dunedin with an overnight low of 8. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, but cloud develops during the morning and a few light spitty showers may develop during the afternoon with moderate south to southwesterly winds. A high of 17 and a low of 10. Overcast on Wednesday, some drizzle early on but dry for most of the day. Cool northeasterly winds will turn breezy, looking at a high of 15 and a low of 11. A few light showers tonight with southwesterlies in Invercargill with an overnight low of 10 degrees. Cloudy at first tomorrow but becoming fine and sunny during the day with cool southeasterlies decreasing. A high of 15 and a low of 5. Mostly fine and sunny with light winds on Wednesday. A high of 19 and a low of 6 degrees. That's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe to be notified of southern news as it happens. Nō reira, kia pai te pou, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.